Hello everybody, and today we're back. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we'll be ranking all Star Wars movies and shows in this video. I hope you enjoy this. We're going to be doing this on Tier Maker, so check it out if you want to rank your favorite Star Wars films or anything else, or Star Wars characters. But in the future, we're going to be ranking Star Wars characters. Hopefully, like my companions will be doing that. So. Hope you enjoy the Star Wars characters ones, and let's get into this one. So, let's start with personally my favourite Star Wars movie, and that is Return of the Jedi. Now, maybe this is a bit biased, but this is my opinion. Put your favourite Star Wars movie or show in the comments below. But I'm going to be putting Return of the Jedi in Grandmaster because, well, it's my favourite movie, and I think it's one of the best out of all of them, and the best one from the original trilogy. Now let's go into ranking the first show, and that's going to be Star Wars Rebels. I actually like Star Wars Rebels. Some people don't. It's a 50-50 on Rebels with the fans, but I put the Rebels in council member because I like Rebels personally, and yeah. So let's get on to Star Wars The Resistance. Now I'm going to be putting this on Jedi Knight because I watched it, but I got bored of it after a while, so yeah. Now let's get on. Now the next one is going to be The Mandalorian. Now everyone obviously loves The Mandalorian, probably one of the most popular shows right now on Disney Plus. But yeah, I think Mandalorian revived Lucasfilm and Star Wars. Personally, in my opinion, it brought it back. I've always loved Star Wars no matter what, but Mandalorian, most people didn't like Star Wars, and then Mandalorian came out and it revived it, so I think, yeah. Now let's move on to Rogue One. Now Rogue One, I love Rogue One because it actually explains where the Death Star plans came from, and if it wasn't for the Rogue One, then the Death Star wouldn't have blown up and they wouldn't have found the Death Star's weakness. So I'm going to be putting this in the council member. Now moving on to the next one is The Last Jedi. Now personally, like most people, I don't like The Last Jedi, but I don't hate it, but I just don't personally like it, so I'm going to be putting it in Padawan. Now the next one is going to be Solo. Now Solo's a 50-50 again, like Rebels. I think Solo's a good film. It's just I think people got put off by the actor of Han Solo, which they couldn't do much about, but I think it's still a good film overall with Lando and Kira and Darth Maul at the end, which surprised fans. Well, if they haven't seen the Clone Wars or Rebels, but yeah, I'm gonna be putting this in Night. Now let's move on to the Force Awakens. Now personally, I like The Force Awakens. I think it's probably the best sequel film, but people may argue the Rise of Skywalker is, but I'm going to be putting this in council member. Now let's move on to A New Hope, episode 4. Now this film is loved by the fans, obviously. It's probably one of the most best intros into film because of what it's done, and I think A New Hope is a very good film. So I'm going to be ranking A New Hope in Grandmaster. Now, the next film is going to be The Phantom Menace. Now, The Phantom Menace among fans was not The Phantom Menace. What am I talking about? Attack of the Clones. That was what am I talking about? Attack of the Clones was a very good, well, the film which kicked off Padme and Anakin's love, basically, but it was more about romance and and how Anakin and Padme were bonding, and yeah, I think this film's really good with Jango Fett and stuff, so I'm gonna put this in Master. Now let's move on to the Clone Wars movie. Now I like the movie because it kicked off the Clone Wars show, and I think it was a very good opener to the Clone Wars show. So I'm going to be ranking this in council member. Now let's move on to the next one, which is The Empire Strikes Back. Now I love Empire Strikes Back. Well, like most people, some people say it's the best Star Wars film. That's opinion, and I'm gonna put this in Grandmaster. Now I may look a bit biased because my favourite trilogy is the originals, like some people, but yeah, I just think all the original films are all good in their own way, in my opinion. So yeah, let's move on to episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now, personally, this is I like The Phantom Menace because of the way it kicked, because it's a good opener to the Skywalker saga and trilogy, and they could have done a lot more with the villain, which was Darth Maul. They could have made him a lot bigger and actually made him good in the made him like a more vital character in the live action, but they did well reviving him in the Clone Wars and Rebels. So I'm gonna be putting the Phantom Menace in Night. Now let's move on to Revenge of the Sith. Now Revenge of the Sith is obviously loved by everyone because the fight between Anakin's downfall, his betrayal, yeah, and Palpatine's rise to power, basically, and the Empire's rise to power. So I'm gonna be putting in Grandmaster. Now the next one is going to be The Rise of Skywalker. I spoke about this a bit earlier, about which was the best sequel film. Now, in my opinion, it was obviously said The Force Awakens, but I am going to be putting it in the council member because yeah, I like Rise of Skywalker. Now let's move on to the last one, which is the Clone Wars, which is obviously loved by many fans. I would probably say every fan loves the Clone Wars. If not, then I don't know why you don't like it, but if you haven't seen it, then I recommend you go watch it because it is very good, a very good show. Now I'm going to be putting this in Grandmaster because it was such a good show, and it delved deep, it went deep into Ahsoka, and it brought loads of new characters to the Star Wars trilogy, and it basically built up the future, which is now The Mandalorian, and even more projects that are in the making. So yeah, I didn't put anything in Youngling. Probably looks a bit biased from me because I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and I don't want to put any Star Wars film or show in Youngling, rank it that low. But probably a bit biased from me. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, everyone, and our next video will most likely be maybe a Star Wars character one, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.